along the ditch where the tall reeds lean. The slow sun lays on the pasture green. Gravel sighs under warm boot heels, like an old truth turning under the wheels. Smoke climbs out of a coffee tin, twists through the dark where the moss drift in. The hills hold still when the day burns low, and the heart gets quiet enough to know. Oh, 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 oh. There was a yard with a clothesline rope. Gates swung wide in a row of soap. Bare feet black from the August ground, running the fence where the beans climb round. Now their place lives on in their hands, in the way they fold and the way they stand. Years move through like a creek through stone, taking a shape then leaving it alone. Maybe fate is a lantern scar, a little heat, not a blazing star. And doubt is the dust the roadside keeps, rising soft with every step it needs. So let me walk where the long fields breathe, struck match in the afterglow. No grand design in the hawk's wide turn, just sky and silence and a patient burn. Still the darkened trail feels kind somehow, like it doesn't need an answer now. Ooh. Beyond the bend where the footpath swings, light comes loose through the trembling limbs. Dust lifts up from the healing toll, soft as a thing that the years let go. Near the fire in a ring of stone, smoke goes thin in the dusk alone. Far off hills in the fading shine hold their breath like a humble sign. There was a field by the kitchen door, wild with clover from fence to porch. feet ran through the leaning grass, sure that the days would be built to last. Now that place lives in scraps and seeds, in the scent of pine and the burr of weeds. What felt fixed in a younger chest drifts like ash when the fire takes rest. Still the dark has a kindly way, takes the sharpest noise away. In the hush where the night birds start, evened out sounds close to heart. Let me walk with a slow pine sway, where the road runs out at the edge of day. If I'm small in the face of it all, let me be small, let the shadow fall. There's a peace in the ground below, in the quiet things that the wide winds know. Coals burn red, then they turn to gray. Nothing here was mine to keep or save, just a borrowed hour, just a patch of flame, just enough dark to unlearn my name. Let me walk where the slow pines sway, where the road runs out at the edge of day. If I'm small in the face of it all, let me be small, let me be small, let the shadow
line broken by the weight of pride, dust on the cuffs in the hands of time, a narrow path through the sunlight grow, like a thought half buried but not quite gone. Ian lay gold on the backs of the weeds, like colo in the birds and seas. And the hills out west held their breath so long, they made my small life feel still and strong. Fire ring of black and stone,
Down with a black hole, throw shade on the bed. A trail through the clover runs thin as a thread. Smoke from a campfire hangs low in the pines, soft as a rumor that outlives its time. Boot soles and gravel keep patient accord. Daylight falls back from the edge of the gorge. Somewhere a whippoorwill calls through the gloam, making the distance feel close as my home. There was a hillside we climbed as kids, hands full of birds and our pockets with sticks. Thought every valley went on without end. Thought we'd stay rough as the fence posts and wind. Now all that living has worn down the haze, sand in the corners and lines in the face. Still when the tall grass falls into the dusk, time feels as light as a coat marked with dust. Maybe belief is a match in the breeze. Maybe it's walking and hearing the trees. Small in the wide of it, still on my feet, carried by silence and rhythm beneath. So leave me a while where the fire settles low, where the dark takes the field and the field lets it go, where the night holds its breath within the cut of the land, and the heart learns to loosen what it cannot command. Out past the fences, past what I knew, the world keeps its distance, but lets me pass through. No bright revelation, no clean certain sign, just smoke in the branches and stars taking time. Just one narrow footpath, still worn and still true, and a life growing larger by making room. Leave me a while where the fire settles low, where the dark takes the field and the field lets it go. Out past the fences, past what I knew, the world keeps its distance, but lets me pass through. Down by the bend where the tall grass sways, evening leans soft on the end of the day. Boots in the dust and a coat full of pine, smoke from the fire moves slow through the sky. Somewhere a whippoorwill turns on the dark, somewhere the old road remembers the car. Nothing to prove in the hush of the land, just dirt on the knees and a map in the hand. Back past the ridge where the fence posts fade, There's a field in my mind that the years never claimed. Mother's voice carried low through the screen door light, calling us in while the hills held the night. Now every mile puts a crease in the soul. Time is a wheel and it turns where it goes. Still when the black oak creaks in the breeze, that far off yard comes walking through me. Maybe faith is a path through the pines, not a clear sign, just a line after line. And doubt is a stone that stays in the shoe, keeping each step slow enough for the truth. So I'll stay where the fire leaves gold in the air, where the dark comes down gentle and nobody stares, where the world feels wide and the heart feels small. And somehow there's mercy enough for it all, with the creek talking low by the edge of the clearing, and the night saying less, but somehow sounding nearer. No grand reply in the soundless span, just amber and wind in these weathered hands. Still there's a piece in the unmade plan, like a trail going on where it never began. I'll stay where the fire leaves gold in the air, where the world feels wide and the heart feels small. Somehow there's mercy enough for it all. A grass seed caught in the cuff of my jeans. The day went dim through the rows of green. The two-track ran by the edge of the pines, thin as a scar, but it still felt kind. And dust rose slow where the boot heels fell, like an old loose prayer that I knew too well. And the hills held back what the mouth won't say, till the light went soft at the close of day. Fire laid low in a ring of storm. Smoke climbed up where the dark had grown. Cedar and earth in the open air, nothing to prove and nobody there. Somewhere home was a screen door swing, bare feet creak water a tin cup ring. But the years went by like a truck on west, leaving long white lines through the chest. And when the crickets start and the talking ends, and even a doubt sounds like a friend, out where the world is wide enough. So I let the night lay a hand on me, through the grass, through the smoke, through the sea trees, where the small in my bones don't have to hide, and the old heartache goes still inside. Ooh, ooh, ooh. see here, it is lean and plain, like a little red fire in the breathing plain, like a road gone faint, but it still runs true. Through the dark, through the dust, carry me through. No bright sign cut through the sky above, just a patient dark and a field enough, and a heart going quiet where the tall grass moves. So I let the night lay a hand on me, through the grass, through the smoke, through the cedar trees, where the small in my bones don't have to hide, and the old heartache goes still inside.
By the edge of the timberline, where the dusk lays down in strips of pine, a kettle hums on a bed of flame, and nothing out here needs a name. The trail runs thin by the sleeping hill, past rock and root and a whippoorwill, while smoke goes up through the deepening blue, like the thoughts that leave and circle through. Where the dirt road bent, summer would shine like it never meant to slip so quiet from hand to hand and leave us changed by the taller land. Now every mile has a slower sound, tire marks fading in the ground, and the boy always feels close some nights in the hush between the pines and lights. Fire burns low and the wind leans near. What was lost grows plain, what was loud grows clear. In the dark how wide with its patient spin makes a smaller thing of a certain man. So I sit with the smoke and the silent ground, let the silence say what I never found. There's a grace in the weight of the open, prayer turns fair. Still the hills hold fast, still the stars stay kind, and leave a little room for a restless mind. Fence posts end, doubt and wonder walk like friends, and the night so wide, so old, so deep, keeps what it takes and what it keeps. So I sit with the smoke and the selling ground, let the silence say what I never found. Still the hills hold fast, still the stars stay kind, and leave a little room for a restless mind.
Stone in my pocket, dust on my jeans. Late day sun and the leaves turn green. A trail cut thin through the elder trees, bend like a question in a quiet breeze. Somewhere beyond where the fence posts end, fields lay open like an old amen. And the boy I was kept walking there, with a scraped up hope and a summer stare. Now the fire leans with a careful glow, breathing out where the dark grass grows. Smoke goes up in a crooked line, like a thought that slips from its proper time. Crickets soar through the edges of night, pine bark holds what it saw in light. And the road back home, though it still runs west, doesn't end where it used to rest. When the world gets wide and the talking stops, truth comes down and the cedar drops, soft as ash on an open hand. There's a place in me like a patch of ground, where the lost years go but are still around, where the small flame stays when the wind moves through, and the dark makes room for a steadier view. Church or name, some are only smoke and a little flame. Some are boots going slow through the grass again, trying to bless what they can. Amen. No great sign, no voice from above, just the hills holding still enough for a heart to hear what it's made of. There's a place in me like a patch of ground, where the lost years go but are still around, where the small flame stays when the wind moves through, and the dark makes room for a steadier view.
There's a turn in the trail where the tall pines thin, where the light falls down and the dusk walks in. Boot soles hush on the broken stone, like the woods know well how to leave one alone. A kettle breathes by the red flame seam, and the creek runs black with a copper gleam. No one speaks, but the earth speaks plain, in the smell of smoke and the hint of rain. like a page left out where the years can't hide. There was a porch and a screen door swing, and a low lamp lit on the edge of spring. We were young enough not to name the age, just dust in our cuffs and the day half spent. Now the miles lay down what the heart can't keep, and the dark brings back what it buried deep. Maybe grace is small as a patch of flame, not a shouted truth, just a quiet name. And doubt is the sound of a branch let loose, still it bends the ear a little closer to. So let the night come down through the cedar shade, let it settle slow where the firelight sways. When the world grows wide and the soul grows spare, there's a kind of hope in the open air, not the kind that shouts, not the kind that shines, just a steady glow at the edge of the pines. No clear handwriting lines in the sky, just ash going soft and the stars going high. Still the road in the dark feels less like an end, more like something broken learning to bend. Oh, let the night come down through the cedar shade, when the world grows wide and the soul grows spare, there's a kind of hope in the open air.
The tall grass leans against the rusted wire, where summer heat still smolders like a fire. The red clay dust is settling on my skin, reminding me of places I have been. A hawk is circling slowly overhead, searching for the things that we left unsaid. The shadows stretch across the empty lane, drinking up the remnants of the rain. The orchard wall has crumbled to the floor. There's no one left to guard the cellar door. I used to climb the oak to see the town, before the heavy years began to weigh me down. The bark is rough and silver in the light, holding on to ghosts of middle flight. I trace the carvings made by smaller hands, markers left in shifting golden sands. With cedar smoke, a quiet truth the younger version spoke. It's not the distance, it's the way we walk. The silence is the only thing to preach. Let the light go thin, let the hills turn gray. Every mile I've lost is finding its own way. It's not the distance, it's the way we walk. Listen to the stones begin to talk. We're only guests inside this open space, folding time like linen in a case. The horizon is a line I'll never reach. The silence is the only thing to preach.
By the cedar line, the evening bent low. Dust on my boots and the creek running slow. Smoke from the fire made a home in my clothes. Same as the stories that nobody knows. Far through the meadow, the last light withdrew. Song went thin in the darkening grew. Out where the trail and the old fence divide, something in me kept a quieter stride. There was a field where we hollered our names, watched how the tall grass would lean like a flame. Now it lies open and patient and wide, holding the years like a stone holds the tide. Most things I carried have loosened with age. Rain leaves the ink but it softens the page. Still when the wind moves the sycamore leaves, home feels as near as the air that I breathe. Some nights the silence is more than a prayer. Some nights the answer is simply the air. Small as a spark in the sweep of the land, learning to rest where I finally stand. So let the fire burn down to its thread. Let the hill keep what was already said. Under this heaven so open and plain, lost has a voice but a need remain. Out on the edge of the dark and the blue, I hear the world and it hears me back too. No grand conclusion, no bright ringing sign, only the pines and their patient design. Only a road with its pale bending grace, only a life finding room in its place. Let the fire burn down to its thread. Let the hill keep what was already said. Out on the edge of the dark and the
Past the last porch and the old cattle gate, the gravel goes quiet, the hour grows late. A line of thin poplars keeps watch by the bend, like folks who know better than try and mend. Smoke from the kindling sits low in the air, ash on my sleeve and the sand in my hair. Far on the ridge where the day used to shine, the hills fold their shadows in slow, patient lines. There was a summer of scraped up young hands, running the fence rows and cutting through land. Certain each pasture went on without end, certain the boy could stay rough as the wind. Now every season takes something and gives, teaches the heart where the heart feeling lives. Still when the black dirt is warm underfoot, home comes alive at the edge of the wood. Maybe faith isn't a blaze in the sky, maybe it's staying when answers go by. Small as a field mouse, plain as a stone, learning this wide world can leave you alone. So let the fire talk low to the dark, let it throw red on the rings of the bark. Here in the hush where the tall grasses sway, what I have lost doesn't vanish, it stays. Still there is peace in the breath and the loam, still there is room in the night to come home. No sudden meaning came down through the trees, only the crickets and one tender breeze. Only the trail with its worn easy grade, showing how quiet a life can be made. Let the fire talk low to the dark, let it throw red on the rings of the bark. Still there is peace in the breath and the loam, still there is room in the night to come home.
At the edge of the pines where the path runs thin, evening leaves through the bark and skin. Dust comes up where the old boots slide, soft as a word with no need to hide. By the small campfire's patient glow, smoke goes high while the shadows grow. Far hills holding the final light, still as a thought at the start of night. There was a yard and a gravel lane, tall grass bending before the rain. weaves through the hair like a thread of twine, and the dark doesn't come to break, only to show what the daylight shakes. In the hush where the slow leaves sigh, even doubt can unclench a while. Let me walk where the ground stays true, where the grass bows down with the passing through. If I'm small in the fields this wide, let me be small and not divide. There's a peace in the things that fade, in a life half lost and a path half made. Ash turns pale where the fire once shone. Night goes on and the trail goes on. Nothing here ever asked to stay, only to pass in a quieter way. Let me walk where the ground stays true, where the grass bows down with the passing through. If I'm small in the fields this wide, let me be small and not divide.
Down where the tall grass leans in waves, past the fence and the sumac grapes, a narrow trail cuts through the pine, like an old thought crossing back through time. Smoke from the fire lifts slow and thin. Night falls quiet at the edges, and boots in the dirt, no need to speak. The dark grows wide and the heart grows meek. There was a field by the house back then, where the wind would bend and rise again, and every summer seemed to stay in the dust that hung at the end of day. And now the road runs out through stone and weed, past what's gone and what I still need. Some names fade like a creek runs dry, some stay lit like ash in the eye. And the farther the hillside rolls, the smaller become these borrowed roads, till all that's left in the settling air is a breath of prayer and the ground laid bare. So let the fire speak low tonight, let it name what There's a truth in the hush between what was dreamed and what has been. Under heaven vast and plain, I am small but not in vain. Beyond the blackened trees, mercy moves with the evening breeze, and out like smoke may drift and climb. Still the stars keep their patient time. Let the fires be glow tonight. Let it name what I can't right under heaven vast and plain. I am small but not in vain.
There's a pool in the path where the tall pines lean, where the dust lives slow in the in-between, and the field goes pale in the falling light, like a thought half kept at the edge of night. From the stove black stones to the creek bed bend, something old in me keeps the same old step, like a boy once sure every road ran true, before the miles learned how to split in two. Now the fire burns low with a patient sound, and the dark rolls out past the clearing ground. Every spark takes off, then is gone from sight, like the names we lose if we wait one life. There are things I miss that I can't retell, just the shape they left in the smoke and smell, and the wind through grass says it plain and clear. What was mine back then never stayed right here. Still the hills don't ask where the years have gone, they just hold the dust till the stars come on, and the quiet lets what is true come near, without a word, without a fear. So I sit with the fire and the breathing land, with the ash on my boots and the dirt on my hands, and I'm small as a seed in the throat of the night, but the dark doesn't hurt when the coals burn bright. If there's a name for grace, it is plain and slow, like a trail through the grass that the lost ones know. No bell ever rang, no sign was shown, just the sky settling down through the cedar smoke, and a heart like a road learning how to go slow. So I sit with the fire and the breeze with the ash on my boots and the dirt on my hands. Small as a seed in the throat of the night, and the dark goes soft when the coals burn bright. Bare ground under the cedar shade, boot soles dark with the miles they made. A pale dirt road and a fence gone low, leading back where the corn used to grow. Smoke curled thin from a borrowed flame, and the dust said softly my given name, like the yard out back when the screen door rang, and the whole wide dark was a kindly thing. Far hill holding the afterlight, crow call fading at the edge of sight. Tall grass bending in an easy line, like the years do too when you give them time. Some things left and they never return. Some stay quiet as a root once burned, but the earth still keeps what the hands let fall, and the creek runs on like it knows it all. When the fire burns down to a ring of red, truth comes close where the words have fled, and the night gets wide without making a sound. So let me rest where the fields breathe slow, where the old paths fade but the wild things grow, where the smoke climbs up and the stars lean near, and the small in me has no need for fear. If a faith still lives, it is plain and deep, like a seed in the dirt that the dark will keep. No thunder spoke and no sign came through, just the grass, the flame, and a sky turned blue. Then the first star lit what I already knew. So let me rest where the fields breathe slow, where the old paths fade but the wild things grow, where the smoke climbs up and the stars lean near, and the small in me has no need for fear. The road left town by a line of old pines, bent through the weeds and the telephone lines. Dust on the hem and the sun going pale, light in the grass and a hush on the trail. Out where the creek turned the stones in its bed, smoke from a campfire moves slow overhead. Nothing but crickets and one folding chair. Night coming on like a hand through my hair. There was a time when the hills seemed so white, each each little footpath a place to confide. Ran through the clover with dirt on my knees, certain the world had a use for such things. Now all the years have a weight and a grace, leave their faint lines but they soften the face. Still when the blackbirds lift out of the weeds, something in me hears the life that it needs. Maybe the holy is only this sound, boot soles and breath in the dark on the ground, small in the sweep of it, steady and still, learning to bow without losing my will. Let the long night say my name and then pass. Let it fall soft as the dew in the grass. Here where the fire leaves are red in the stone. Loss isn't louder than being alone, under the weight of a sky so deep blue. The world keeps turning, and I turn there too. No sudden answer came down through the trees, only the leaves and their worn patient speech, only a trail with its slow faithful bend, teaching my feet how to trust it again. Let the long night say my name and then pass. Let it fall soft as the dew in the grass. Here where the fire leaves are red in the stone. Loss isn't louder than being alone.
Dirt road bending by the sycamore trees, evening settling in with the hum of the leaves. A crow flew low where the far field dipped, and the light let go in a copper slip. Fence posts lean like they'd seen it all, through the years gone hard, through the years gone small. And a boy I knew in a hand-me-down coat still walks that ridge in my throat to smoke. Firelight shook on a blackened tin, crickets stitched up the dark again. Pine sap old ash in a kettle hiss, made a kind of church out of loneliness. Home comes back in a broken frame, screen door slamming my mother's name. But time moves on like a creek through stone, taking the shape of what is shown. When the night gets wide and the words thin out, even doubt has a quieter mouth. Even grief sits down by the flame. So let the hush come over me slow, like smoke through the pines where the soft winds blow. Like a hand on the earth when the heart won't mend, like a road that and the coal's going red and the grass been clear. In the breath of the dark, in the patient ground, where the lost things ache but they still are found. Gray voice rolled out of the sky, just a deeper blue and the stars gone high, and a peace that came without asking why. So let the hush come over me slow, like smoke through the pines where the soft winds blow. In the breath of the dark, in the patient ground, where the lost things ache but they still are found.
Past the bend where the pine roots show, evening spills in a copper glow. Dust lifts off from the healing soul, like a worn out prayer from a weathered soul. By the fire in a ring of stone, smoke climbs slow where the dark has grown. Far off ridges go faint and blue, and the whole wide earth feels passing through. There was a yard by a sagging gate, tall grass leaning and growing late. Screen door sang with a hollow chime, in and out through the ribs of time. Bare feet ran where the roads were straight, certain love would be home and wait. Now those days are the seeds, the crows scatter wide where the dirt road goes. Still the hills don't demand a name, they hold the lost in the light the same. In the hush where the blackbirds fly, even doubt lets its shoulders lie. Let me stay where the slow smoke climbs, where the trail runs out and the grassline shines. If I'm small in a widening frame, let me be small and remain the same. There's a peace where the fire burns through, in the quiet that asks so little of you. Ash turns pale where the coal sank deep. Night keeps on what the hands can't keep. What was mine was a borrowed flame, brief as breath and as hard to name. Let me stay where the slow smoke climbs, where the trail runs out
trail dips by the shale and pine. Day burns low in a copper line. Boot prints press in the breathing ground. Soft as grief when it makes no sound. And firelight leans on a circle of stones. Smoke climbs up like a hymn half known. And past the ridge where the last birds veer, the dark comes close and the heart grows clear. There was a porch and Apache lawn, crickets stitching the dust till dawn. Mason jars on the window ledge, some map read by the barbed wire edge. Years went by like a truck on the road, slow at first, then gone in the smoke. What a boy could hold with his open hands now blows through like the field grass bends. Still the hills never ask for speech. They keep the things that stay out of reach. In that hush where the thin stars start, even doubt quits pulling apart. Let me fade with the evening wind, with the dust on my shoes and the light gone thin. If I'm small in the wide, wide frame, let me stand and be small the same. There's a truth in the hush below, and in the things that leave and the things that grow. Nothing here was ever mine to keep, just a road, some smoke, and a little peace. Let me fade with the evening wind, with the dust on my shoes and the light gone thin. If I'm small in the wide, wide frame, let me stand